What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Great Lakes Outdoors podcast. Today we got our boy Zach Younge is back in the building. I actually seen a text from him, unlike last time, since you want to just come over here and not tell me one time.
It's an unannounced visit.
Well, you texted me yesterday. I just never seen it, though. And then the last time you were here, you never even texted me or called me.
No. It was a surprise.
Piece of shit, man.
Hey, I'm here.
No,
hang out.
You got your uncle, correct?
Yep.
Uncle Scott?
Yep.
That's correct.
Scott, how is it going, man?
Hey, it's going great. Finally getting a chance to hang out with my nephew and get out on the water and catch some fish.
Hopefully he's paying you to hang out with him, though.
Yeah. Well, that's what it takes for me to hang out with people nowadays.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
We'll start with Zach first, and then we'll get into our guest, Scott. If you haven't listened to Zach's podcast, one, you should. But two, if you haven't, Zach, you kind of want to just maybe re-inform or talk about yourself and who you are.
Yep. Last time I was on, my wife was 7 months pregnant.
We had a killer duck hunt.
The next day, we were up all night, 3, 4 in the morning, recording a podcast, went out duck hunting. We shot some.
Shot two. We didn't shoot some. We shot two.
Yeah. Two is some.
Yeah.
Two is some. And then I from there I took off a couple days, or that day drove all the way to Massachusetts through the night after I left Kyle's and got my eider, got my common eider, got some other cool birds for the wall, and headed back home. And here we are now, 5-6 months later, and I now have a 3-year-old daughter.
3-month-old.
3-month-old daughter.
Yeah.
Yep. that math's
Man,
a little.
Time really does fly, don't it?
Yeah.
Went back in time.
Yeah. The math adds up a little bit better that way. Yeah. 3-month-old daughter now. Her name's Avery.
That's awesome, man. I've seen the videos and pictures and stuff. It's just gonna be awesome watching the growth from her.
Yeah.
Through the hunting world. I mean, for a lot of people that don't know Zach, you are going and traveling all over to catch or to shoot, harvest the 41.
Yep.
I don't know why I was about to say 42. The 41 and it's a incredible thing that not a lot of people get to do.
Yep. So I'm traveling the nation and all of North America to do it. And since I've seen you last in December, I went to Massachusetts to get some sea ducks and some other diver ducks. And then I went to California shortly after my East Coast trip. So I went as far east as you can go and as far west as you can go in the lower 48 and chasing ducks this year. And last year I went as far north and as far south as you can go in the lower 48.
Which is crazy, too, because now that I think of it, you were out there with her boy Hawk with Prim Springs.
Yep.
Which Alex introduced me to Hawk, and me and Hawk damn near talk every single day now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is going to be, don't hook yourself now. It hooks fish, and people, apparently.
Hey, if you don't know, Kyle, he makes his own custom jig heads for jigging walleyes in Detroit, and I just bought 30 and just immediately launched them across the room because I got hooked on my sleeve. Just shows you how good and sharp these hooks are. So go buy some from Kyle. They're great.
Sharp to us, not to the walleye, I'll tell you that much. No, Hawk's actually supposed to come up the end of the month, I think, to shoot a turkey, and which this should be releasing this week, actually. So Hawk's going to be coming up and shoot a turkey. I'm going to switch him out for either a Tennessee bird or a Arkansas hunt.
Okay.
So I got to figure out which one I want.
Take that Arkansas hunt, boy. I'll tell you.
I don't know. Tennessee turkeys, though, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's what Scott's here. You
yeah.
know? Hey, y'all are about to learn. Scott's from Tennessee.
Yeah, you're about to say Kentucky.
I almost did, yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he did say Kentucky, though.
I probably did. I probably did.
Okay,
yeah,
maybe that's
I'm not the brightest bulb.
Well, to get into it, to talk about our guest, Scott, you want to tell everybody about you a little bit? Because I just met you, 20 minutes ago
Just a few minutes ago. Yeah, my name's Scott Young. I actually grew up in Gaylord, Michigan, and graduated from there. Went into the Air Force, went worldwide remote, and got stationed at Oscoda, Michigan. So I've got a history in Michigan, but then moved down to the Carolinas. I've been South Carolina, North Carolina, West Coast of Florida, East Coast of Florida. But I've been in Tennessee the last about 15 years. And we live in a place called Dunlap, Tennessee. It's just north of Chattanooga. I just retired one day after my 63rd birthday, June 20th.
Congratulations.
Last year. So now I'm retired. I can do what I want. That's why I'm here fishing with Zach and having a good time. And
you're married though, so you can't always do what you want there. You got to back up a little bit.
I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to go or not. Oh, you need to go. You're retired. Just shut up and go. Like,
okay, so that's good. Maybe you do what you want.
Well, she's good. But my wife, she likes to hunt. She likes to fish. So everything I do costs me double. You know, when I buy one shotgun, I got to buy two. 2 crossbows, 2 compound bows, muzzle loaders, rifles, everything I've got to do double. So I was telling Zach earlier, I'm gonna try to book a hunt probably in Kentucky this fall. But if I do it, I got to book a hunt for 2. So
speaking of that, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna look up because I got invited to a Tennessee hunt the other day with from our buddies over at Gator Decoys. Dakota texted me. I don't know if you would know who it is or not, but I'm gonna look it up. But not to cut you off.
Tennessee has nice deer, and if you get in the right place, you can kill some good ones. We sold a hunt property a couple of years ago, but killed some nice bucks off of there. My wife got her first buck out of there. It was a 9-pointer in velvet, which was really cool because I don't even have one in velvet. And then about 4 years ago, I killed a nice 10-pointer. It's kind of a basket 10, but then that was in November, but then in December killed another 10-pointer that I'd been hunting for 3 years, and it scored out at like 163 and 3/8. It was, to me, it was my personal best. I consider it a trophy because it was a Tennessee buck, and that's not common, So we had a great time, but we sold that property, so now we're kind of looking for places to hunt. But when Zach called me up about fishing, I was like, let's go, man.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Did you grow up doing any walleye fishing on the river here?
No, I've been mostly doing bass fishing in my life. Did that in the Carolinas a lot, mostly largemouth, but some smallmouth bass. I love to fish, but I've probably done more hunting. I just haven't had the place to go. But I'm telling you, I just love being on the water. And even when you're not catching, you're still fishing. You're not working. You're out doing something cool.
That's truth there.
That's to me, that's great. I love it.
It's fishing for me. Me and Zach could probably both say it. We're spoiled from where we're at, which Zach's on the west side. We're on the east side, obviously here. Great hatcheries of fish. For me, it's all about the woods, man. I love to be out in the woods. Turkey hunting, we got our turkey, which we'll talk about our turkey seasons this year a little bit later. But I just can't get enough of it, man.
Right.
Can't get enough about the duck and goose hunting out in the fields or in the turkeys out in the woods. I can't get enough of it.
And you were always historically a waterfowl hunter and turkey hunter, and you spent some more time deer hunting this year from our conversations. How'd that go for you?
Not great. Not great at all. I got out. I grew up deer hunting, though.
Did you?
That's all I used to do.
Your dad's got some property up north, doesn't he?
So the family's got property up in Caro, which we got some of the families, cattle farmers up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the families up in like Bay City, Cass City area.
Mm-hmm.
So we grew up deer hunting, and then one day I got invited to a turkey or a waterfowl hunt in New York. Went out there and absolutely just fell in love with it. Never turned back. My dad and uncle would be making fun of me left and right, wanting to go out on the water and freeze my butt off compared to out deer hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But I got so tired of just sitting there by myself and not talking to anybody and seeing the same deer time and time again. And it's not like we were shooting real big deer. Not that that's all that matters or anything, but you're just seeing the same doe and 2 yearlings every time. And then next thing you know, I got a dog, I got some friends, and I had friends. Let's clarify that one though. I got some friends that were like into it as well, and just to be able to like the camaraderie behind the waterfowl. I never turned back. And last year we got, I think 2 years ago. I'm sorry. I got a call from the farmer, and he's like, I just got some deer property. If you want to hunt it, if not, I'm gonna lease it out. And I'm like, yeah, I'll hunt it. Didn't hunt it the first year, and then this past year we hunted it, and there was a couple very close calls. Whether I was a half hour late or, I mean, the normal hunting stories that you always hear from somebody. There was one day where I had a buck about the size of those sheds that you're seeing on the table there. Told work I was leaving early. Ended up not leaving early. Got to the spot at the park, parked the truck, looked down at my phone, the cellular camera went off.
No.
And he was right in front of there, and
No.
that was the last time I seen that deer.
Oh,
so
Has the podcast heard about these sheds yet?
I don't know. Maybe.
Man,
I know Instagram, we posted some pictures.
Okay. Man, I'm looking at these things right now. I mean, and talk about...
Yeah.
Believe me, I can talk to you about girth, all right? These things.
This is a
holy shit.
Straight podcast, not a, you know what I mean?
No. My wife will talk to you about girth, okay? These things right here, good grief. Go check out Kyle's Instagram. Is it yours or Great Lakes Outdoors?
So I basically abandoned mine. So it's on the Great Lakes page.
Man, holy. And to
Very
find
nice.
a matching set,
20,
good grief.
Maybe 20 feet away from each other. They were close.
That's nuts.
They were close. I felt bad because I told Sid to go on this side of the ditch, and because she didn't have big boots on, like she just had her ankle high boots on. So I went on the other side of the ditch, and as soon as I get out of the clear cut, one of them was laying right there. And so I had Ellie find it, walked a little bit further, and next thing you know, the other one's laying there. The black lab is Ellie. Okay. Yeah, I think she was out there when we hunted, right? Yeah, yep. Ellie and Rip were out there, which is both of ours. But yeah, it's deer hunting. I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have a getaway with it, but waterfowl hunting or fishing, I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
It's
know.
And I think, and Scott, he'll talk about deer hunting some more. This is his show, not mine today. But I've never been a deer hunter. But I told Scott on the drive, over to Detroit today that something I kind of caught the itch during this off season, and I want to put a good one down, and I think I'm going to put some time and effort into it this year. And I have so many duck and goose properties that I can deer hunt, and I have some specific deer hunting properties nearby home that I can obviously deer hunt, and I think I'm gonna try.
That's what's tough about for us. It's mostly fields by us. I mean, you've seen where we're at, so there's a lot of just tree line bucks or little thicket bucks where
same.
It's just kind of right time, right place. Situation.
That's what it boils down to, and a matter of finding that one small little wood line, and it's. I was pointing out some of my properties today, like, hey, there's no trees. I mean, how am I supposed to shoot one with the?
Well, look at the turkey property that you got over there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. That's where I'm going to be. I hunt a lot of blueberries at home, and there's this not a single tree on the property, so it's do it off the ground and on a 800-acre field. How do you get one that close to you with a bow?
How many turkeys you got this year?
We got 6 down so far.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's turkey hunting's a blast. I got turned on to that in Kansas. I had a good buddy in South Carolina, took me out there, and man, nice birds, easterns and some reals, but we had so much fun. Well, I got into that and got into it in Tennessee. Had a couple hunting properties, and we'd kill some birds. But took my wife out, and of course, Zach knows my wife, Lee, his aunt, and set her up, kind of tried to give her the basics and gave her a little box call, put her in a nice blind, had a little food plot that we had there. And her first bird came in, and it was up at the top of the hill, about 38 yards after we measured it out later on. And she didn't know anything. She just saw a turkey, told her aim for the head. She shot it, and bam, it was graveyard dead. And she had her first bird, and I mean, she loved it because when you watch them walk in, they're strutting, they're gobbling. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
It's that excitement's.
There's something about turkey.
Different about it.
Turkey hunting for me though, like where I can't even explain like the passion and the love behind it that I have. Excuse me, because turkeys for me, I would pick that over waterfowl or any type of hunting all day long. I don't know why, but it's just such like it's got to be like the cat and mouse game behind it all. And maybe just like the one-on-one reaction or interaction, because you can never have that interaction between, like, you can't talk to a deer like the way you do to turkeys, or it's just something completely different that I just can't get enough about it. I can't. In example, I mean, we're sitting here on one of the biggest walleye hatcheries in the country, and when turkey season starts, I mean, I haven't been out walleye fishing since. Maybe once or twice handlining at night, but other than that, I haven't been out during the day. I've been out in the turkey woods, either roosting them, even if we're not turkey hunting the next day, but just trying to get an idea of what's going on or where they're at or whatever it may be. It kind of goes back to even what you were saying about learning turkey hunting more and wanting to get just the diagnosis. We talked about it on the phone the other day. Every little bit of information I can learn on these birds, I want to, you know.
It's a blast. You hear them, you go out and scout, you find them on the roost, you know where to set up, and it's like, can I pull that bird to a decoy versus the live hens going elsewhere? And do you pull it right? And
most of the time, no.
No. The first time I tried to get one with a bow, I was in Kansas, and I knew exactly where they were roosting, set up, called, but the real hen said, heck with you, I'm going this way. And it was like, can't compete with that. Didn't get it.
That's what happened to us Sunday, actually. We had that heartbreak of a day Saturday with those 5 toms, 12 yards. And then Sunday we set up on a spot. I took Sid's brother out. Been watching this bird do the same exact thing the entire season. So April 20th till now, which today is what, the 13th of May, when we're recording this. And the hens, it's been 1 tom and 3 hens. I'm sorry. The hens went one way, the bird went that way, and he's been doing the same thing. And you want to call to him, but maybe one of them situations where I shouldn't have called at all, you know. But then it's like, okay, let me just deer hunt it at that point.
Try.
Right. I don't know. We I think we're at 7 this year.
Hey, that's good.
And one of the biggest things this year is not taking too much from one property, or knowing what's on a property. You know, you don't want to shoot 2 or 3 jakes if there's only 4 jakes, or, you know, we've only got 1 jake this year and the rest are longbeards, because we shot the 1 jake, and if he didn't shoot that jake, I guarantee you all 5 of them would have beat the shit right out of us, because they were 5 steps from us. And I think it was so close. I don't know if I sent you that picture, did I?
I think we were on the phone about it, and you sent me videos of it, or pictures of it.
Did I show you the picture? I'm telling you, the wad went right through the head.
Yes. Nope. I saw that one.
Okay.
I remember that one.
I'm telling you, man,
Yeah,
that migra stuff, oh, good God. Now I know why they don't say shoot them that close. Like, don't do it. It is gnarly. But season's been crazy. A lot of ups and downs for us over here anyway. Yeah. A lot of property issues this year.
Yeah, I heard about those too.
Yeah.
They happen every year, man. Anybody that's got enough property, you know, enough permissions, knocking on doors long enough, it's going to happen, and it sucks.
It's one of those things, though, where if I was talking to somebody yesterday, I believe it was, and you can't complain about stuff that you can't control.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Because
you can only control what you can control.
You're just wasting your breath at that point.
Yeah. That's one of the ones you can't, and
it's a pain in the butt.
Yep.
But what are you going to do? But enough about me, enough about turkey hunting. Scott, you're a big-time cooker.
I do a little bit. I do a little in the backyard, used to do it semi-professionally. We had a business and did some, mostly Carolina style, you know, Southern style cooking. But
what's kind of your forte, though? What's kind of your...
My forte would be Carolina barbecue. And sometimes people hear this, oh my God, that's vinegar-based, and oh, it's so bitter. That's kind of the Eastern. I'm more Western, but I've even modified that. What we do, it's vinegar-based, but I got a lot of brown sugar in it, some molasses, a little honey, some other things. It mellows it out. It's a little sweeter blend, and I kind of introduced that in Tennessee, which they'd probably, most of them there had never been, ever introduced to Carolina barbecue. And when we had our rig, they loved it. And it really is very, very good. I've got my own blend for my wet sauce, but then I've got a finishing sauce. It's really good. But I also got my own barbecue rub that we do. And I'd say the thing that we were probably also very well known for was our sides. You go to a barbecue place and someone opens up a can of, pork and beans and puts it in your plate and says, there's your side. It's like, what is that? That's
Right,
not barbecue. Right. Barbecue's homemade, and there's flavors and there's some depth to it.
Years of experience. And
our homemade, our barbecue beans were different. We did Southern style green beans. We did the standard stuff, coleslaw and whatnot, but we had a special thing that no one else I've ever seen does, except I knew one guy that did a version of this that I saw on the internet, but I've never seen it at a restaurant, never seen it at a barbecue joint, and that's Southern style smoked cream corn. And that's kind of one of the sides that we were known for because nobody else did it. All the barbecue restaurants all around kind of all do the same thing, and some beans are good, some suck. But our smoked cream corn was like, it's the bomb. It's really good.
It's untouched. It's amazing.
What kind of got you started into, like, have you always cooked? Have you always smoked? I mean, what kind of started you off with it all, though?
I like good food, and you can't always go out and get it. So I started like, hey, what do I like? How do I do it? And I'd try some different recipes, and it's like, that's not bad, but almost every recipe I've got, I've taken my own twist to it and made it better. I ran into a candied bacon recipe while on this trip, but I'm already thinking of a way that I'm going to take that home and I'm going to take it one level up, and I can't wait to try it.
Right.
And I've got, friends that will just go nuts over it. If I just do the basic, they'll go nuts. But I think even make it just a slightly bit better, it's going to be, then it goes from good to epic.
Right.
And I just like good food. I like preparing it. In my backyard, I call it my pavilion, but I've got pellet smokers. I've got a big Myron mixing one that I can do 20 butts on. Most I've done 16. But that's a lot of butts. That's a whole lot of meat. I'm telling you. And I've got a Pit Boss, but then I've got a big green egg. I've got a Weber grill. I've got a Blackstone griddle. I've got a little camp stove like you see at the state parks. I took that thing. You're supposed to put it, bury it in the ground. I just had a special stand made for it. But it's like if there's every way I can think of to cook, I like to try it. I've got a big tripod that I go over my fire pit with that I can cook out. I've done steaks on that and potatoes and corn. If there's a way to cook over fire, I want to do it. And, some people say, well, like the pellet smokers, well, that's an easy bake oven. Hey, you know what? It's got good smoke. It's got great flavor, but I like mixing it up. I don't like doing the same thing over and over. And then when it comes to game, I cook more venison than probably anything else when it comes to game, and I'll find a marinade that I like, and I'll find a technique that works, and people, I don't like venison, it's too gamey. Well, you never had it cooked right. And a lot of people cook it till it's well done, and it's like eating shoe leather. Well, that's not the right way to cook it.
Right, yeah, you got to change it up.
I enjoy good food, always have. And it's like if I eat it at a restaurant, I want to know how can I take that home and even elevate it, make it even better. And to me, that's a blast. Sometimes it's a swing and a miss and it just sucks. Other times it's like, dang, that was great.
So a lot of late nights on a toilet to start off with is what it is.
Yeah, it's like, give me some Pepsid.
That's I mean, a lot of people don't understand. I mean, like we talked about this a little bit with another sponsor I wanted to bring up was Gibraltar Duck Hunters Association. Me personally, I just joined up with those guys. Trav's a little bit further out, so it's a little mismatch there. But whether it's from youth hunts to cleaning up the beach to dinners, anything just in the community alone. It is an amazing thing to team up with these guys, and can't speak highly enough of them. From everything that they do, it's absolutely amazing, and I highly suggest anybody out there that has a local DU or just a small association, highly suggest teaming up with those guys and giving back as much as you possibly can, because if not, who knows what the future holds. Like I said, greatly appreciate those guys letting us team up with them, and I really cannot express how excited I am for the future. But back to the podcast. Okay, sorry for that little break there. Little difficulty on my end. It's all on me. So wild game, though. What is your favorite wild game of cooking?
I'd say the thing that I do that gets the best reviews is venison tenderloin. My wife loves it. She'd rather have that than filet mignon. When I hear the people, I can't stand it, it's too gamey. Well, you haven't had it done right. So I've got a recipe that I use.
Can you tell everybody though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll share it. There's no secret on this one. It's standard stuff, but it's good. So when I do a venison tenderloin, I'll do I'm going to give you the recipe. I'll go slow enough so if someone wants to write it down, they got it. But it's simple. It's good stuff. It's probably stuff you already have in your pantry or in your fridge. 3/4 cup soy sauce. Can't go wrong. 1/2 cup red wine vinegar. 1/2 cup vegetable oil. 1/3 cup of lemon juice. And make sure lemon juice hasn't been sitting there for 3 years in your fridge. I'll do 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. I'm not going to spell it. 2 tablespoons of ground mustard. A tablespoon of coarsely ground pepper. 1.5 teaspoons of dried parsley flakes. 2 garlic cloves. Take that. I'll put the venison tenderloins in a bag. Put it in the fridge. And I'll usually go at least 4 to 6 hours. I want it to penetrate the meat. But the way I just love to do this, I've got Big Green Egg, I've got Weber Grill, I've got all the stuff. But I'll just get the Big Green Egg, get it nice and hot, usually at least 600 degrees. And I'll take that thing, throw it on there kind of angled. I like to get the grill marks, because even when something tastes good, I like it to look good.
Look good, yeah.
Presentation's
Exactly. I love it, man. And so I'll do that, and I'll go, I'll do the turn. I'll get the nice grill marks, flip it over, and I'll take that to about 125 degrees, because I know when I pull it off, I'm going to get a few extra degrees coming in. I like to get it to 130, 135, so you're eating it medium rare. And then I'll just cut it thin, cut it on a bias, and it will melt in your mouth. It's so stinking good. And so the people that say, I don't like, wild game, I don't like venison, it tastes gamey, well, try this, and I guarantee, it'll be some of the best beef you ever put in your mouth, or best.
Don't say meat. I was gonna say, don't say meat in your mouth. Don't say that now.
Oh, wait a minute. I can do better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Listening to that, I mean, I bet that just applies to so many other cuts of red meat.
Actually, I've done it on steak, and it's just as good. It is absolutely delicious. I don't know what it is, but that blend of flavors, when I found that marinade, it was like, that's my go-to.
Yeah.
And if it's good, just leave it alone. Don't screw with it.
It's just like everything else.
Yeah.
Don't find fish. Don't leave fish to find fish. Don't find another turkey if the one's right in front of you.
Yeah.
And Kyle and I are such big duck and goose hunters, and we were talking about earlier, Scott, that you haven't had much experience with the wild duck and geese. I mean, it's all red meat. Yeah. I bet you we try that marinade, we grill them up. I mean, obviously we're cooking a lot of mallard, breast steaks and all that all the time.
Right.
Man, we might have to try that with our duck.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know how it would be with that, but I'll bet you it would be good.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
It's just a great blend of flavors. And when you marinate it and it gets a little chance to infuse into the meat, that piece of meat's going to taste great.
Right.
And I just got to say that I am very impressed with how well that you said Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah,
I don't
that
even know.
W sauce.
W sauce, yeah. It really, I like as soon as you said it, we got a video rolling. I was like, oh damn, that was good.
That is one thing I find out. Well, two things there. Well, I'll even break it down to three things. The three things: one, cleaning your meat properly before is a huge thing that not a lot of people do, to take the time out with, the fat or the tendons or whatever it may be. Two, a lot of people I feel like judge their first time eating something, and then they're just done with it. Yep. There's so many different things out there where I see a lot of it with fish. Me and Zach talked about silver bass. You guys coming up and catching a bunch of silver bass. Mm-hmm. We were so against silver bass fishing all of our life. I know a lot of people that just kill them and that's it. But if you do it right, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But from the first experience that you have with them, I remember there's one year we went out, we skipped school, we went out fishing, caught a limit of silver bass, and we were about throwing up, not because we were drinking, but because the fish was so bad by about 10 o'clock, and I never wanted to try it again.
Wow.
But eating it the right way, it's a whole night and day difference.
You're really doing a good job of trying to sell me on trying to sell Scott on going tomorrow to get silver bass.
I'm telling you, man.
I told him it might be fun.
No, we talked earlier today. Used to go fishing up in Maine, and we'd catch pickerel, and it's a blast. They're great to catch. They fight. They're fun. But a lot of people in Maine won't eat them. Well, we would take them. We'd wrap them in foil, a little bit of butter, garlic, and some seasonings. But we'd do it. We'd just take that thing and we'd take the fork and kind of pull it off the bone and eat it like an hors d'oeuvre, and it was absolutely delicious.
Pickerel as in pike.
Yeah, it's like the cousin to a pike.
Pike family.
Well,
but it's so good.
Pickerel is French, correct?
I don't know what.
So
it could be French, it could be German.
I could be wrong on this. Pickerel is just the French term for pike.
I might be wrong too. I think that there is a difference. I don't know what it is, but I think that there is a difference, because I know some dudes in Saginaw that are like, "Oh, that's pike, that's pickerel," when they're out there.
Now I know there's saugers and walleye.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which actually, Scott's got saugers up in his neck of the woods.
Yeah, they've got them in Tennessee.
Well, I believe
got a lot of
it's
sauger.
Stocked though fish. It's like a stocked walleye, correct?
I don't know if they're stocked or not. Down in the Cumberland
Cumberland
River. They got them down there.
But anything you eat is how you prepare it.
Right.
Do you take the time to do it right? And it's like, I'll never eat this, too bony. Well, there's a way to do it.
That's what we do our goose loaf. It's like 60% pork and 40% goose. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's kind of like a salami, I guess, kind of style. You just cut it up into pieces where you can put it on a cracker. I'll eat the whole thing in one sitting. I mean, it's so good, but the pork is just to keep it formed correctly.
And a little fat content too.
Right. But we're out there getting that little silky skin off of the meat. We're out there cleaning every little bit that we can off to have that just pure goose meat into it. And it makes a world of a difference if you just take the time and do it.
Well, a piece of venison, get that silver skin, get it off.
Right.
Just take that off. That's not going to taste good.
Right. And I don't know, people just get a lot of bad taste in their mouth from people that aren't knowledgeable on that.
Yeah.
And then you got, the urban legend stories. I had a friend who had an uncle in West Virginia, and he ate venison, he got worms. Well, okay, maybe he got worms, but
how is that even a thing if it's
who
cooked
the hell
properly?
knows where he got it from?
Well, I guarantee it wasn't from the meat if it was cooked.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, I mean, that worm would have been dead, no?
We used to have him come up sometimes and eat with us, and you're not feeding me venison, are you? Because he knew we had a lot of venisons. No, that's beef. That's it's from the store.
Never knew the difference.
Was nowhere near as good.
That's what about muskrat? You ever cook muskrat?
No,
It's a big thing around here.
I did eat when I was in Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts here in Michigan. We went to a place we had barbecued beaver though, which is actually excellent. Because I thought beaver would be greasy and kind of nasty. All right, I see Zach laughing, but it was actually very good. That's a barbecue sandwich.
Beaver guy.
But I never had muskrat.
Red meat in the mouth and beavers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave it at that one.
Well, there's the title for your podcast.
Yeah, no kidding. Red meat in the mouth and beaver meat.
Yeah.
But muskrat is a huge thing. I don't like muskrat, but again, maybe it's a thing where it wasn't prepped properly.
I didn't realize that it was a thing here. I mean, we have a lot of muskrats on the west side of Michigan, you know, a whole bunch of water, a lot of muskrats, and I've never heard of people eating them.
We just had a podcast the other day actually, and we talked about some trapping, and it kind of led into the coyote season this year because I don't know if you're aware of it. We got 3 months off of coyote season now, so we're only allowed to kill coyotes.
It's no longer a year-long thing.
Come to Tennessee, you can kill them all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is they're trying to say, since coyotes and a lot of people don't even know raccoons are the same way or any kind of varmint and that,
everything.
They will go into heat more if like the roll call is less. We'll use just coyotes for example. If there's less coyotes in the pack, they'll go into heat again to make that pack like the same number.
Wow.
So they're trying to keep it less dogs going into heat, but it's like, why? Like, what's the point of that? There's no point at all. Why not just keep it open? Because now it's going to, when it opens back up, its crops are growing. You're not going to be able to shoot the dogs during the crops.
People tend to overthink it.
It's all the pencil pushers is what it is.
Bureaucrats. It's like, get out of your office and get out in the woods.
Right. Well, they probably haven't had to deal with their dogs getting taken by the dogs or whatever, you know. It's just one of those things where it's crazy to even think that that's a thing around here.
One thing that a lot of people were really overthinking in Michigan was right when this law had been passed, shortly beforehand, somebody shot a wolf.
That's
in southwest Michigan, and everybody's thinking, oh, it's not because of that. These things don't happen overnight, you know.
Like
that was a week or two before.
It's like shooting an elk instead of a deer. How can you not know the difference?
Yeah. That's just.
It's hard to say that though because of the fact of, I know a lot of stories from DNR hiding stuff before. Like they let a mountain lion go just down the road from us, but didn't say a word until my buddy seen it out deer hunting, and then next thing you know, here comes DNR with all the sonar and stuff. Never said a word on the news or anything. Mm-hmm. That dog was killed months before, or that wolf was killed months before, and then they released it then. So I mean, it's hard to say like what's true and what's not.
They could be connected, they could not be, but a lot of people are, you know, a lot of tinfoil hat people out there, you know.
It's hard. It's hard to assume, but I guess where I was getting at is, you know, there's not a lot of people trapping anymore, especially for muskrats. There was a guy around here, which I've said before. He brought a brand new truck just off of muskrat pellets. Brand new truck, cash money. Wow. Here you go.
That many?
Yeah. But back in the day, you actually get money for them. Nowadays, you don't get nothing, so it's a waste of time basically to trap at all. Coons, muskrat, coyotes, anything. Yeah. Why do it if you're losing money at the end of the day?
And I caught the itch for a lot of things to chase more deer this year and to also try trapping turkeys. I was never a turkey guy, and this year was just like, let's go for it. But the main, like, one of the things I really wanted to get into was trapping, and the seasons now are just so trapping, shooting, whatever, of all these varmints on the farms that the farmers want back. They want rid of them bad. Coyotes, raccoons, muskrats, all of them. Groundhogs. The seasons now is just so difficult to
the problem
get out
is,
and actually do.
And the person or people to blame are the people that with the fur bearers like license for Michigan, like the main guys up in the office. we have DU, we have like deer banquets, we have waterfowl banquets, we have banquets for everything, right?
Mhm.
NWTF down in Nashville, they donate a bunch of money to every, I shouldn't say just Nashville, but because I think there were other locations
Yeah,
before.
Nashville's just the big one, though.
Well, I think they travel, though, if I'm not
They do,
mistaken.
yeah.
From, I think it was like Louisiana a couple years back. Then they went to the Grand Ole Opry and whatever. Why not have a banquet or dinners or whatever it may be for trappers?
Yeah.
Why not be able to give money back for people that are shooting coyotes or coons, or why not do more? Because
I will travel far and wide to go to a beaver banquet.
that's called a strip club there, if you know what I'm saying.
I just
Just go to
that's called
Windsor.
that's called a comeback in the or a callback in the comedy world. I had to reach back out for that one.
That's it's just one of those things, though. Why not try to do more for that, though? Why not try to put more money back in there? Where I know there's a couple spots where they give you money for every dog that you shoot, every coyote you shoot.
Yeah.
So why not have more banquets to be able to support that kind of stuff?
Right.
You're not taking from other associations or like the D. You're not stealing from DU's money. You have your own thing going.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's their own fault for it being this way.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
People are going to disagree or agree and whatever.
Everybody's got their opinions.
What's the
Yeah.
craziest thing you cooked, Scott? Now that we're talking about that, because I'm curious. Legally, I don't want to. I don't want the feds.
I won't
knocking on
talk
the door.
about the spotted owl then.
All right, Theo Vaughn.
I really haven't cooked a lot of crazy stuff. Alligator, I mean, I lived in Florida for a while, so alligator's pretty good.
Wild boar, maybe?
To me, it's chewy. I have, killed some wild boar, also down in Florida. Wild boar's all right, but, if you talk to Myron Mixon, he'll say, why would you do that, when you get I can't pronounce the damn disease, but it ain't a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you can go to the store and get, really good pork. But,
swine flu?
Yeah, no, it's
Maybe
it's
that's
some
way
weird,
off.
some weird name I can't pronounce. But I have done wild boar, but I've had to take that and soak it in ice water for a couple of days, and then I took it and slow smoked it. It was actually pretty good, but it's a lot more work than going and getting a Boston butt and throwing it on the smoker.
Yeah.
But they're fun to kill,
Mhm.
and down in Florida. You talk about something that was running wild and just raising havoc. They'll tear up fields, and people wanted them dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Texas.
Right.
Texas, they just go crazy killing them because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
But I'd still rather eat something something from the farm.
What you said you've had small, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You've only cooked waterfowl a handful of times, right?
Yep.
What was your way of cooking it?
Kind of the standard easy way, the bacon wrap. Everything's better with bacon. I do a lot on the grill, and so stuff like that, I've done that, but I don't have enough access to it to really try it a lot. And even like this weekend coming up and fishing with Zach, I'm really looking forward to going home with the walleye.
He loves fishing with me. He can't wait to
I was
leave.
gonna say, Jesus, Pete, all right, tell him how you really feel.
Taking the proceeds of that wonderful time with my beautiful nephew.
That's better.
You paid him to say that,
going
didn't you?
home
Yeah, I did, yeah.
and actually, okay, we'll fry some walleye. Now, what can I do with salmon? I'm in the midst right now. I've got an old. It came out of my rig, my old barbecue rig. I had to replace it. It was a big True, which is a nice brand, a big refrigerator, and it was a commercial refrigerator. I'm getting ready to do a smoker with that, but I want to go both ways on that. With the one side will be pellet when it's electric, with this like a smoke daddy that gives me the smoke. But then I'll do the hardwoods coming off of cooker down here that I pipe in there, so I can do it with power, without power.
Right.
But I want to be able to take something and smoke it and make it really, really good. And so I want, the salmon, I'm not going to do them all at one time.
Right, yeah.
Because I want to be able to say, okay, here's the first batch. Here's how I did it. That's a B minus.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. This is the second batch. I learned a little bit. This is a solid, A minus. And then I want to work until, what I do is an A plus.
Right.
But that's something I haven't done yet. So I have to experiment. I have to experiment with my marinades, with my dry rubs, with my time, with my temperatures. And then once I know I get it right, it's like, okay, this is it.
Game on.
Let's go get some more. Let's bring it in. And this is my go-to.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, but I just love the process. And my poor wife, she has to eat some crap before, we get to the good stuff.
Right.
But if I'm cooking and she's not cooking, she's good.
You
and
bet
if it
you got to
sucks,
eat.
Hey, we got hot dogs. We'll have a hot dog.
How do you feel about boiled hot dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sucks. I'll steam
You don't
them.
do it?
I'll steam them.
Okay.
But then I'll steam the buns, and I like the Detroit style,
Yeah.
Coney Island.
Oh, so you like
Got
the
the-
crunch to them.
I got the homemade chili, diced onions, a little nice mustard.
You don't do them, Kyle?
Man,
No,
good stuff.
I like the boiled. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Really?
Let me say this. I like the grilled. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not real of a crunchy guy.
Mm.
Like the crisp.
See,
I'm not.
the Kogels on the grill. Man,
Those
you
are
get that
good.
nice bite. Ooh, man, that's good stuff.
Oh.
I'll actually have my friends from Michigan that come to see me in Tennessee. Hey, bring me some Kogels hot dogs. Because I
Really?
know
Yeah.
I'm going to throw them on the grill. I'm going to get that nice snap.
Yeah.
And,
I did that the other day.
So
Yeah.
dang good.
You guys making me hungry.
maybe-
You're probably making yourself hungry after you guys
Yeah.
just ate.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Scott, Kyle, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
So we were talking about this earlier, and Scott's a very humble guy for the listeners out there. He's a very talented chef and cook and barbecuer, professionally trained, very talented, selling out his shop and his restaurant every time that he opened up. It would sell out quickly.
I'm gonna stop you
Yeah.
because he just told you about how fast he wants to get home,
Yeah.
and then here you are talking him up after all of that.
Yeah. Well, I
So is
think
he-
I
is
think
he
that
paying you?
maybe if I hype him up, he might want to stick around with me a day or two
Okay,
longer.
I just wanted to make
And-
sure there.
Hey, I'm just
and just
looking forward to
because-
the haul. I got a cooler full. I'm out of here.
so
See you, sucker.
Right in the middle of the night too, so you don't got to say bye.
right,
to
yeah.
you.
Yeah. This is our first day fishing together, by the way. He's been here for 3 days. He hung out with my parents. First day fishing, he's already ready to go.
Like tomorrow, hey, I've got enough. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I caught a couple walleye.
I seen the baby. I'm good. Let's go.
Yep. All right. Here's my question, because I was one of these guys, a year or two ago when I got, I wanted to take pride in my food. Do you have 1, 2, 3 pieces of advice that you would give to anybody that's barbecuing, boiling hot dogs, whatever, anything for a young person or an old person, whoever person that wants to take pride in their food? What would you tell them?
Well, for example, for pork, like if you're doing a butt, I'd go low and slow. Like I went to Myron Mixon's class. He's a 5-time world champion, and he's great. He goes hot and fast, but he's got a smoker that's got big water baths, and he puts all the good stuff in there. So he's going with smoke and steam. He can go fast and go hot. He's 300 degrees, and he's done a lot faster. But slow slow is good. But a lot of people, the biggest mistake I see them make is they'll do like a Boston butt. They'll pull it off. It gets to temperature. They're pulling it and eating it. Slower you roll. When you get that thing to temperature, what I'll do is I'll just take a nice cooler, put that butt or butts, usually I like to do a couple, put it in the cooler, throw a couple towels on that, close the cooler up, just walk away. The least that I'll do for a rest is 1 hour. But I rested 2 hours, rested 3 hours. When I had my barbecue business, I would have 15 butts in a cooler, and all that thermal mass is in there, and I'd throw my towels on there, and I have a big cooler that insulates well. I'd go back 6, 7, 8 hours later, and I'm still running, 165 degrees, on that butt. When you go to pull that butt, it'll fall apart and it'll melt in your mouth. So that you've got to take the time, and you got to factor the time. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to cook a Boston butt and I'll start, 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, I hope you plan on eating at midnight. And instead, they'll end up trying to cook it too fast. It's tough. It's not good. I'd rather cook that thing all night. And a lot of times I'll put them on 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. I like to go out every hour and spritz it. I'll use a little, half and half vinegar and cider, apple cider vinegar. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll mix it up, man. I'll take some, like in Tennessee, we've got Old Smoky is down there. It's the moonshine capital. It's awesome. And I'll take some of the Old Smoky salted caramel. I'll put that in there, throw a little either Dr. Pepper, with full sugar, or like Coke. Put that in there 50-50, spritz with that. That smell alone, that's going to bring them running. Mm-hmm. It is so stinking good. But when I do that, it's like take the time. I've got, my personal rubs that I like to do that I've tried to perfect over time. Do the rub, but then I'll go out every hour and I'll spritz. So if I'm going all night, I'll sleep on the recliner so I'm not bugging my wife, and I'll set my clock, on my phone. Every hour I'm getting up, going out, spritz that thing, and it's keeping that moisture in it, and it hits 165 degrees. I'll wrap it. If I'm just doing a butt for me, I'll wrap it in butcher paper. But if I'm doing a bunch of butts, I'll wrap it like in foil. But I'll go, that long thick foil, rub it, wrap it one way, then I'll wrap it the opposite way, so you're not picking it up and it's peeing all over you. And man, you put that in a cooler, put a towel on that, and let it sit for a while. It's going to pull like candy. It is so good.
Yeah.
But, slow and steady, man, it wins the race. It's just like that freaking turtle, man. Yeah. It just wins the race. It's good.
And can you do that with, we're talking about butts right now, but can you do that with different cuts of, a big roast from a deer and do something similar, or a wild pig if we go down south and shoot one?
Yeah, wild pig, you'd probably want to do that too. But like, if I'm doing a brisket,
mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same way. It's low and slow.
Yeah.
And, I just had a new place opened up near me recently. It's very, very good. They do Texas style, which is really basic, salt, pepper, and garlic powder.
Right.
And they cook that brisket nice and slow, and they wrap it, and they do their thing. And when it comes out, it's so juicy. Whoo, it's good. But again, when they do that, they pull it out. You just don't take that thing off the smoker and start slicing it.
Right.
You're going to rest it.
Yeah.
So if you take, this is going to sound bad, take your meat and rest it, it's going to be better. It's really, really good.
It's like a sore dick. You can't beat it,
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to get it ready for round 2.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess so. How do you feel about like the new, like the Traeger stuff coming out with the electronics with the cooking?
I like it. There's a lot of people who say, hey, that pellet smoking, that's, they'll make disparaging remarks about it. But, I've got the stick burners. Mm-hmm. I've got charcoal burners. I've got the pellet smokers. I've got a Pit Boss. I've got a Myron Mixon that's a 36, Bark 3600. It's huge. Well, if I want to cook, like I said, most I've done 16. It'll do 20. But if I want to do 16 butts, how the hell am I going to do 16 butts on a big green egg?
Right.
You can't.
Right.
But if I'm doing 16 butts and I put it on that, and you got all that thermal mass and you do it right, man, I'm telling you what. You pull that off and do a taste test against whoever says, it's got to be a stick burner or whatever, I'll beat them 9 out of 10 times. I mean, I call that one my easy bake oven because it does cook like that. It's seriously that easy. I'm not here, doing a commercial for them, but you can't have an easier way to cook because you set the timer, it modulates it very well, and it doesn't fluctuate huge. I've got a big green egg, but I'll put it's a what do I call it, a barbecue guru. And if you say, I want to do something at 275 degrees, you'll see this tiny little fluctuation. Whereas if I'm doing 275 by hand, you know, I'm opening and closing vents.
Right.
It's going up, it's going down. I'm chasing it.
Right.
You know, I'm not chasing it with that. So I like it. And you know, there's so many different things you can do. If you want hickory, you got it. If you want apple, you got it. Peach, you got it.
Easy to come by nowadays.
Mesquite. I mean,
Right.
It doesn't matter what you want. You can get that flavor profile.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, even like a competition blend, which is it's a couple different versions or a couple different types. Tastes great.
Right.
I love it. I mean, I would never discriminate against one because I love it. I use it, and if I'm doing an overnight cook, I could do that and go in and take a nap.
Right. Just look at your phone, do whatever you got to do.
I did. I had a Lang, which is made in Georgia, and they're huge. They're offset smokers, and I had that, and one end's this offset smoker, and it had a big, the smoke box, and then it had a warming rack, and then it had another section of the grill that was charcoal. Excellent grill, excellent quality, American made. Can't get any better, but you got to babysit it. You're not gonna do that overnight and be taking hour-long naps. You're
Right.
just not. You got to watch it.
Now, how is that with the competitions, though? Is that a thing where you can't?
Yeah.
I mean,
There are competitions that you can do just that. There's competitions where you can only do charcoal only. There's competitions where you can do, you roll it in, you bring it, and just present to the judges. So it depends what kind of competition you're doing. There are some competitions where you can only use this brand of charcoal.
Oh,
And
really?
you're going to be, you're going to be Kingford, for example. I've seen, the Kingford invitations where you got teams doing, their cook and all they can use is Kingford charcoal. Great stuff. But, hey, if you want to have something that's judged and it's judged by KCBS or whoever's out there, it depends on where it is and how they're doing it. I do it either way. I've not really done any competitions yet, but we've got some products and some techniques, me and a buddy of mine, that are good enough for competition. And it just depends where you go. Is it going to be, offset stick burners only, or is it going to be, pellet, or is it just bring, hey, whatever you got? It's all about the taste and the profile of the taste.
Yeah, I mean, is competition's pretty cutthroat with like all that goes into it all.
It's fairly subjective. If you're doing something and it's pork or it's ribs or it's brisket, a lot of it depends on what the judge's preferences are. Do they like sweet and hot?
Right.
Or do they like, sweet and savory? Do they like, what do they like? They like the kind of the mesquite, that heavier smoke. You see guys like Myron Mixon, and he puts out an excellent product. He doesn't win everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he doesn't even place. He goes to Memphis in May. One year he'll win and he'll be the grand champion. Next year he might go there. He might not even place, or maybe they give him he's 8th place in chicken or whatever.
Right.
It's going to depend a whole lot on what the judges, what their personal preferences are, what their taste profiles are, and you can't plan for that.
No, not at all.
If you got something that's your go-to and it's like this is the bomb, but the judges think, well, I don't like that. I like this better. Okay, and then they look at it, and maybe it's the appearance. They're looking at the taste. They're looking at the appearance. Well, maybe, you didn't trim your kale or whatever green thing you have underneath there that just perfectly, and they're taking points off for appearance. So,
it's got to be such kind of a defeating thing in a sense where, you do everything right. Like you said, that one judge might not like that way.
right.
Doesn't mean everybody else is going to hate it too.
Exactly.
That's going to be
And it could be that the judges, don't score you high, but you win the, the people's choice. Hey, because they're going through and they're eating, samples from all these different competitors, but it's like, whoa, this is average Joe, but this is good stuff right here.
right.
So
I didn't realize that was an option.
oh yeah, there's people's choice in most of those. And you know what? That would be I just personally I just about rather win the people's choice because that's like the guy that's coming up and eating your barbecue.
Yeah.
Right.
The people that would come buy it at your restaurant, you know?
If I win that, I'm like, whoa. I mean that's my people.
Talking
They're
to the
good.
people.
Yeah. You know?
Talking to the people.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That is for sure. No, the whole cooking aspect of everything is just, it's like we talked prior to this. I wanted to have somebody on here for it. Just, I don't know, different ways of cooking. I feel like there's a lot of people with, especially wild game, that they know one way and that's it, and they're scared to do anything else. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, even with the ducks. I really want to do like a gumbo, like the down south Louisiana boys.
I've done it.
It's so good.
Is it good?
Oh, it's very good. And I will say that I take a lot of pride in my cooking, and that comes from me, you know, growing up watching Scott, and especially in the last 10, 15 years, how good he became at cooking and all that. And the gumbos, dude, money. The other things that I've done with the duck specifically is just a basic pan sear and cast iron. And then once you pull them, you just have a bunch of flavor from this seared stuff in the pan. And then I turn that into a gravy with, you know, different red wines and this and that. And then I just put the, you know, what would that be? A reverse sear? No, not a reverse sear, but I put my seared duck back into that gravy that I'm making by hand.
Right.
Just from the seasonings and whatever's left in the pan, and
that's one thing I haven't done.
Boy,
yet.
howdy, that stuff's good.
I haven't took the just plucked a duck and like with the fat on it or anything. I haven't done that yet.
Use that fat to your advantage, and you know, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. You know, just depends on how.
See, it's hard though.
I'm doing after that hunt, but
I mean, Scott, you probably deal with it a lot. It's hard to do, say, like the fat on a duck, right? It's hard to do that a lot, or to clean a bunch of ducks that certain way. When you present it to somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not going to eat it." So why do it that way? You know what I mean? Though it's like it's got to be hard to be. I don't know. I don't know the word.
Duck fat's great though. I mean, I'll take the spray duck fat. Of course, it's not as good as probably fresh, but I'll use that in cast iron, spray that, and then do like put a nice jalapeno cornbread in the oven, or put it on put it in with some coals, and you get that little added dimension of flavor. You know, that's way better to me than putting Pam on it.
It goes back to, even though the vision or the visual of your food, though. I mean, like, excuse me, if somebody sees something and they're like, yeah, I don't know how that would be, and it's the most delicious thing that they've ever eaten before. I mean, they don't know. It's just the visual of the food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think that I used to love rabbit hunting. I got an example. I used to love rabbit hunting, and never really loved eating rabbit. Rabbit's good, you know. It's good. It's tasty. And then I got this one buddy of mine that's Jamaican, born and raised, Jermaine. And Jermaine cooked up this rabbit for me one time. And did it, you know, his home style way, which is low and slow and not, you know, there's no smoke or anything. It's just in a pan, and he did this crazy stuff to it, and you know, a couple hours later it was ready to eat. I was over there hanging out with his kids in the meantime. Go eat it. It was a top 5 favorite meal that I've ever had in my life.
Tortoise wins the race, right?
Just a simple rabbit. Exactly what Scott was saying, and what we were talking about earlier, is low and slow, and so, you know, I say this just to say that you know, for those people that don't want to eat it, hey, just do me a favor. I put a lot of time and effort into this.
Try it.
I put a lot of time and effort into this to harvest this animal, to be able to eat this animal, and then to cook this animal, and none of it was easy. Try a bite. Guaranteed, if you do it right and you put the time and effort and take pride into your food, which is what Scott does so well, and that I am proud to say that he taught me to take pride in your food, it's going to be worth it. And for all those people that don't want to do it, don't want to try it, you get them to try one bite, guaranteed they're going to be the same way I was with that rabbit that my friend Jermaine made for me. That to this day, years, almost a decade later, I still call a favorite meal that I've ever had. I've eaten at some badass restaurants, you know, a top 5 favorite meal. That's an impressive thing to say from a rabbit.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Scott, I wouldn't blame you if you punched him right now for saying something like that, because he just talked you up to the moon and higher, and a rabbit
surpassed him.
Not the tortoise. Not the tortoise. The rabbit won. The hare won this time. No, it's just it's one of those things though where it's like I said, the visual, the sight of something, you know, it could really turn people off. So I mean, the pork and stuff, yeah, it's probably easier to have somebody eat that knowing what it is, but so many people that are just so thrown off when it comes to wild game. And it's some of the best stuff you could eat, healthiest stuff you can eat too.
Well, venison's not, you know, it's not got all the steroids, antibiotics, all that stuff they put into beef. And no one's manufacturing that stuff. You go out, you kill it, you process it, you know exactly where it came from, and that's going to be as good as it gets.
Well, that's got to be tough too because of those competitions with not being able to sell waterfowl or, I believe, turkeys. You can't sell turkey meat either, like actual Eastern or Rio turkeys or anything like that. I could imagine it not being, not having much experience doing it all.
Yeah, and turkey, you know, the wild turkey, all I've done on wild turkey is the breast, because the legs are a little gamey, or they're a little tough. They're out there, they're hoofing it. They're not just sitting there, you know, getting fat and getting ready to be slaughtered. But take that and marinate that in a little bit of Italian dressing, and you know, I've done it grilled. I've fried it. It's excellent. It is so good. But a lot of people, you know, if it doesn't come from Winn-Dixie or doesn't come from, you know,
McDonald's
Publix or whatever's near you, then they don't want to eat it. It's like, man, you're missing out. These things didn't have all the antibiotics and all that crap going into it. These, you know, God gave us these animals and we're eating them. That's about as good as it gets.
That's my buddy shot his first turkey this year. He's been hunting them for 4 years, and kind of give the background of it. Which I don't know if I told Zach about the story from opening morning. Even I've told it on the podcast before, but Firebolt Game Calls, Eric came up, was going to come up Saturday to hunt with us. You haven't met him yet, which you will.
Is he the one from that video I jumped on Instagram?
Yeah. Yep. So that's right. Yeah. So he was coming up Saturday morning. We ended up getting kicked off of a field that me and my dad were going to go to.
I heard about that part.
Because of a property butting up to the piece. The guy thinks he owns everything. The farmer didn't want to deal with it. We got kicked off for doing everything right, basically.
Wow.
Can I blame the farmer? No, because I wouldn't want to deal with all the BS that comes along with it either. So 11 o'clock, here we are trying to figure out what to do. I think of plan B. We jump into plan B. I tell Eric to call me about 4 because he's never met my buddy Brandon. He was calling for Brandon and his buddy Kenny. Calls me about 4 o'clock. I text him. I said, hey, I'm up just to let you know, but I'll call you in a little bit. When I get out of the house, I don't want to wake up Sid. And he's like, man, this is bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? Did you hear about this or no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. So 2.5 hour drive from Cleveland. He gets about 100 yards away from, it was 101 actually, yards away from Brandon's house. 3 rods, I guess you want to say, from the, like his what are they? What am I thinking of? The tire, gosh darn it, what am I thinking? The 3 rods broke off. 3 out of the 6 broke off from his tire. His tire went flying off of his truck. And tire went flying off into Brandon's neighbor's yard. I don't know why I'm throwing a blank on what they are.
I'm drawing a blank too, but
the pegs that are off the tire that you put the bolts on.
Mm-hmm.
What am I thinking of, Scott?
I'm sitting here looking too. It's like I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know why I can't think of the name right now. Anyway, 3 out of the 6 broke off. Tire went flying. 101 yards away from Brandon's house.
Wow.
4 o'clock in the morning, opening day of turkey season this year. So here I am trying to make sure that plan B is going to go good for me and my dad, which my dad didn't get a turkey the year before. So that's like number one goal for me this year. And here it is that a guy from Cleveland drove all the way up and he's missing a tire. I get over to Brandon's about 4:15 because I about flew down the road trying to get to his house. Long story short, we get the tire fixed. We get the truck in the driveway after the hunt. They weren't successful. We get the tire fixed after the hunt. That week, I think, that Monday after opening weekend, we had a bird come in behind us. It was Brandon, Sid, and I. Brandon told Sid to turn around, shoot the bird. Kind of wanted Brandon to shoot just because he's never shot one before. Sid ends up dropping this bird. 2 days later, me and Brandon are walking back out. I take the whole week off, first week of turkey season. Get out in the field. I say, man, we should set up a little bit down this way just because the cover's good. Take one more step. Boom. Bird hammers off like 50 yards behind us. He's like, well, looks like we're sitting right here. I was like, nope, we're pushing a little bit further to get better cover. About 6:27, that first bird hit the ground is what it was. But I did a little fly down and took my hat, which people think I'm crazy for doing it, and I started beating against my leg,
no, it's a
like
thing.
the fly down.
It's a thing.
Arnett in Kansas.
And it happened this year with my buddy Goodman. He sat there and started dying laughing at me in the morning because he's like, what was that for? Like he's trying to scare it away because I roosted the bird up behind us and it was close. So I did that and he started dying. I was like, just wait, just watch.
Watch this.
But that bird flew down, and then about a half hour later, the other bird flew down. There's 2 gobblers right behind us. He walked about 5 steps in front of us, right next to us, and Brandon shot his first bird. But the whole story on opening morning there was just absolutely insane with the whole truck tire falling off, the whole getting kicked out of the field, all of that stuff.
So you're saying 3 of the studs broke?
The stud, yeah, exactly. There we go. Finally, somebody understood that one. Yeah. 3, yeah, it broke, snapped right off. I'm going to find out he got his tires rotated a week prior. Never tightened down the lugs.
Oh,
no shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Never tightened down the lugs. Still doesn't even have a struck back. Here we are, middle of May. Doesn't even have a struck back from the dealership. Still. Yeah.
Dang.
Pain in the butt. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I
story,
thought about studs about halfway through your stuff. I thought, all right, I got to remember it's studs.
That's where I was going with the story. So Brandon cleans his first bird, gets all the leg. He gets the legs off the turkey, breast meat, and he called me the other day. He goes, "Yeah, I ate that turkey, the legs." I was like, "Yeah, how was that?" He's like, "Not good." I was like, "People don't realize them turkeys. It's all muscle.
Yeah,
they are out there to live every single day of their life. As soon as they're hatched, they got a X on their back. You know, they got something chasing them. But I'm not saying that a certain way might be.
You could probably stew them.
So, something might, but it's all the muscle and stuff that comes along with it. People don't realize that. People don't realize. I had a guy tell me this year that he shot a 48-pound turkey.
Shoo!
Oh.
Record's 34 or 36 in Michigan.
Yeah, well, good for this guy, I
told him he was full of it and he swore by it, so I let him live up to his glory.
Mm-hmm.
He never had the record or never took it in to actually get weighed, but there ain't no way that a 48-pound turkey, because that turkey probably ain't going to be able to fly up to roost that night if you think about it.
No.
because I think 36 or 34, whatever the record is pushing flying up to a tree at night.
Man, 48 pounds, man. That'd be like Oprah with wings.
Some dark meat there, huh?
Yeah.
We had, I got a guy, one of the property owners, he used to raise turkeys. His biggest one's like 51 pounds.
Good grief.
But so a guy raising a bird in a pen
Holy moly.
is only 3 pounds heavier. That's the biggest turkey he's ever raised.
And it probably couldn't walk.
I was going to say, that thing barely even walked. Thing was
Broke
dragging
legs.
the ground. Like one of those fat wiener dogs that just, when it tells you to lay down, it just squats a little bit and it's sitting on its stomach already.
Right.
I don't know. It's, yeah, a lot of muscle in them turkey birds.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you've learned this year for turkeys? You said you really want to get into it.
Patience. So for Kyle knows and Scott knows, but I'm hunting all blueberry fields and there's not a tree on the property, which means that there's not a bird roosted on the property. These blueberry bushes are so thick and they're so many and they're everywhere and there's so many acres. I was showing Scott today, showing him around it. We're talking 2,000 acres of blueberries, and if I'm lucky, maybe 10 of the however many hundreds of turkeys on these thousands of acres are roosted on these properties. So it's a lot of work and effort that goes into it. And, I learned this year too with turkeys. I've never been a big turkey hunter, but we found a bunch of birds, kind of watched them go into a tree. And then I'm thinking, oh dude, we're set up 200 yards from this tree. We're going to kill them first thing in the morning. Nope. They can go any direction outside of that 10-degree angle in which that I am from that tree. Otherwise, I ain't going to kill them. And that's exactly what happened. And that happened to my buddy and I. And that night, my buddy killed one, which was awesome. And then the next morning, I went out after church, and then I killed mine, just kind of spot and stalking. And then I got, long story short, patience. That's all it boils down to. But this next story, man, it gets me all fired up just because I'm a recent dad. I got a newborn.
3 years old.
3 years old. 3-year-old newborn.
Sometimes people they say she's only 3 months.
Yeah.
What's wrong with them?
It's the world's skinniest 3-year-old ever. She's only 10 pounds. But I brought my good buddy Ryan, who I've talked about on this podcast before, last time I visited. He has a young son that went on his first turkey hunt and not shooting, just being a part of it, going and hunting with dad, and just watching that father-son relationship got me real fired up about my young father-daughter relationship that I have with my new child.
Don't start crying on us.
I ain't crying. And so we getting to witness that, and then we just driving around trying to make it easy. It was the fastest turkey hunt I had ever had. So I found a turkey with Ryan and his young son Russell, and found the turkey. Thought, hey, we're just gonna keep driving, get past them, come up with a game plan. We're gonna look at Google Maps, figure out the best way to find these things, get near them. We did. Russell was following along, and 12 minutes after we spotted this tom, my buddy shot it with his son right by his side to witness it, and it's pretty awesome. A 12-minute turkey hunt with a buddy and his young son to be there to witness it.
So you'll never
That's
forget.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that was. I told both of them that was, I think, the highlight hunt of the year for me. for sure.
So your daughter, her name's Avery?
Yeah.
Haven't
There's-
heard that name much. How'd you come up with that?
Well,
Ducks.
yeah.
Was it?
It was, yeah. So I wanted to have my kids be named something duck hunting related, and my wife Andrea.
She wouldn't go for Mallard.
No, yeah. Well, that was one of the options.
Hen.
Yeah, hen,
Yeah.
mallard, drake.
If it's a
If
boy,
it
it
were a
could be
boy, yeah. No, she wasn't having it, and any duck hunting remotely related thing was just immediately shut down. And then one day I came up with the name Avery, and I got my wife Andrea to agree that that's a pretty cute name. And then once she agreed on that, I had a quick go out to I had a quick go out to my deep freezer in the garage with the Avery sticker attached to it,
Slap
and
it right on her.
well, I covered it. I didn't want her to know it had to do with ducks
I
because
gotcha.
otherwise she was going to shut it down. And I couldn't talk about this the last podcast
I think, yeah.
because she was going to listen before the baby was born and change
Too
the whole
late.
deal.
It's on
yeah.
the birth certificate. Too
Yeah.
late.
So we did that, and
It ain't too late for a divorce, though. I'll tell you that.
True.
so
Or to get cut off.
Yeah.
once the baby was born and the birth certificate was signed, I finally revealed to my wife Andrea, like, hey, this is the name of a store that I use, and this, that, and the other that I shop from, and kind of snuck one by you.
Yeah,
And,
there'll be plenty more sneaking by,
Yep.
whether it's hunting or names or whatever it may
It's
be in the
happening.
future.
Yeah. She'll figure it out.
I'll tell you what, though, it is crazy, the relationships that you build through people. Scott, you could probably say the same thing with your cooking or like the competitions and stuff, the relationships, the friendships that you build off of this. I mean, me and Zach hunted 4 years ago now, was it?
Yeah, probably.
I think it was 4 or 5 years ago now, as guests of somebody else's hunt, not knowing each other from Eve, to where we're at now. It's like I'd call Zach, he'd call me, and it's like we might not talk for a few months, but it's like picking up right where it left off kind of thing.
That's awesome.
But I feel like it's the same thing with the cooking aspect of everything, or the smoking or grilling or whatever you want to say.
It is. It's that way with whatever your passion is. Kind of getting into some ATV or side by side kind of action now with some friends, and once you kind of get that bond, whatever your
Passion.
whatever passion is, or whatever it is you like, or whatever you're going to go do for fun, it's real easy. I didn't know this person from Adam, a year ago, but now call them up. Hey, let's go ride.
Right.
Hey, let's go hunt. Hey, I got an idea for a recipe, and it's if you got a shared passion or something that you both like to do. It's like it doesn't matter if you've known each other 30 years or 2 years or
Right.
hell 2 months. It's like I can call this person up. And if someone, I love whatever I do. I like doing with someone that's better at it than me,
You're always learning.
because that way I can call them up and say, hey, this did not work. What did I do wrong? How can I do this better? And we do that all the time, man. Me and some friends, we got a little thing, grilling and smoking. We get together, and one will ask a question. Hey, I did this and it was a bomb, or even something simple. Today it came up. Hey, my grill is all rusty. What can I do? Well, this is simple, man, because people have done it. It doesn't matter what you've done or what sucks or what didn't work out right. Someone else had the same experience. Call them up. Hey, man, what do I do? And
That's one thing that is key, though, to that. What your point there is, not being scared to ask questions about
that's
something.
right.
Because whether it's waterfowl or turkey hunting or deer hunting or fishing or whatever it may be, yeah, you're going to learn from your own mistakes, but people are out there to help you out at the end of the day. You can't keep doing what you're doing and think it's just going to magically get better one day. You got to have that mentor. You got to have that person that you can fall back onto. But it's a amazing thing that we're able to just have friends that turn into family that come from, across the state or across the country,
Yeah, I've got people who are my mentors in several different aspects. I might be a mentor to others in several aspects. And it's like, hey, somebody is going to be better at whatever it is you're doing. Somebody's better at it, and you can learn from them.
Now, if you were, I'm going to throw kind of a situation up for you. If you were probably 3-4 hours away from one of your buddies and you went pretty much damn near in their backyard, would you call them to let them know that you're there?
I would.
That's what I figured.
Some people don't do that, but I
That's
would
what I
always do
figured.
that because it's like, hey, I'm here. What can we get together and do?
That's what I figured.
And even today, Scott's high school.
No. We're talking about you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
He didn't even catch that.
No, we were talking about you there.
no.
I'm glad
God
Scott
love
picked it up.
Yeah. Hey,
No, because,
I may be pretty, but I ain't smart.
we were definitely talking about you there.
Yeah. Well, I got a face for radio, but it ain't helping much
Well,
today.
good thing it's not videoed, I'll tell you that much. I don't know, Zach, you got any other questions for Scott or anything?
No, I'm just super happy to have a cool experience like this with my uncle. We don't live too close, and don't
Well,
get
hopefully
to do
you
this
call
too
him
often.
if you get close to him, though. Hopefully
Yeah,
you call him
I
if
do.
you're there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, he'll be
That's
Chattanooga and ignore me.
good. Yeah, no kid.
So hey, we got some family. Go hang out with them. Don't take it for
Yeah,
granted.
that's exactly
This is
right, buddy.
this is a cool experience that not everybody gets to live out. So
So
do the things when you can.
doing this podcast, man, it's almost like the hunt situation that you were talking about with the young one, Russell.
Yep.
To be able to, I don't want to say help, but like just help family get together in certain ways, or
Mhm.
friends get together in certain ways. Like we
It's
had a guy
huge.
from Colorado
Yeah.
yesterday, which will be dropping after this podcast, but people from all over the place just meeting up and either creating new friendships or making friendships tighter from different places of the world. I mean, it's very fortunate to be able to do this.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's few things that you get it from, and cooking is one of them.
Everybody loves cooking and good eating.
Yeah,
You gotta love a good meal.
Yeah.
providing the food to cook it, hunting and fishing, which is
Mhm.
what Scott and I are doing right now. I mean,
Which
it's
he's leaving at midnight before
yeah.
he
This
can
is-
say bye to you.
I've got some fish in the
This'll be
bag. I'm
short.
ready to go.
Yeah. He's got enough to survive. Yeah.
He's got to Uber back to your place
Mhm.
tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But Scott, I really greatly appreciate you jumping on
Well,
today.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
A little bit
Been a
different,
pleasure.
a little bit different from what you've done before, I'm sure. Is there anywhere anybody could like find you, or social media, or like if they had cooking questions to be able to reach out to you?
I've got an Instagram. It's Young Smoke and Sizzle, like not the ampersand, but Young's in Smoke and Sizzle. And I watch that, and I get people, on there asking questions. So anytime someone's got a question on that, I'll answer anything. There's only a couple recipes I won't give out.
Sounds good. You hear that, Zach?
No, I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna get those recipes. I'm gonna.
Yeah, and then he'll be posting them.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I'll have to kill them.
Exactly.
Hey Kyle, here you go.
Yeah.
I got them.
We'll post it on our Instagram so everybody knows about
Yeah.
it. No. But no, I really greatly appreciate both of you guys coming, and Zach for you setting this up. And like I said, a couple years ago, I would never have guessed that I'd have the friendship that I do with you. So I greatly appreciate that, and very fortunate to be able to call you my friend. And Scott, for you coming from Tennessee, not Kentucky, Tennessee. You coming up here and spending the time, and here it is midnight as we're recording it. And I don't know, just super grateful for it
Hey,
all.
thanks. I enjoyed it. It's been great.
Good. I'm glad. Zach, you got anything else?
No, go follow Great Lakes Outdoors on Instagram. Make sure that you give this podcast a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, if that's how whatever your rating goes on the podcast system. I don't know.
I don't even know.
Do the things.
Yeah,
do the things. Help Kyle. Do the things.
It's a
Goodbye.
10 scale. You want a 5, huh?
I didn't know. I didn't even pay him to say that either. Yeah,
That's
he's half of me
yeah,
here.
I'm just a good friend.
I appreciate
Do
it,
the
man.
things.
I appreciate it, and hopefully tomorrow you guys catch a bunch of fish.
I hope so.
We will.
Hopefully, but no, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here, and until next week, see you guys.